Just as horrific images emerge of Haitian refugees being beaten away from the U.S. border, the Fugees announce a reunion. And so the legendary group's mission to amplify the stories of immigrants becomes more timely than ever. I'm Dometi Pongo, and this is MTV News. Need to know. Thousands of Haitians have fled the country after an earthquake devastated the island nation last month and following the assassination of President Jovenel Moise in July. Images of Border Patrol attacking refugees shed light on the hypocrisy of the Biden-Harris administration, who campaigned on promises of friendlier immigration policies. This was in direct contrast to former President Trump's inhumane practices like the so-called Muslim ban and family separation. Here's what Kamala Harris said in 2019 on MSNBC.
And then what happens when they arrive at our borders? We, who have erected the Statue of Liberty, they arrive at our borders and we say, go back to where you came from. That is inhumane and it is immoral.
Since then, the now vice president has been assigned to stem the surge of migrants at the border. And here's a message she sent to Guatemalan immigrants in June.
Do not come. Do not come.
The immigrant experience is something long spoken about in pop culture through groups like the Fugees. The iconic hip-hop group coincidentally announced a reunion this week to commemorate the 25th anniversary of their album, The Score. The album canonized the diversity of the Black experience across the diaspora. And even the group's name is the reclaiming of a derogatory term for Haitian immigrants. When The Score topped the charts in '97, MTV joined the Fugees for a concert in Haiti to bring awareness to the country's poverty. Wyclef, who's Haitian, told MTV,
"The country got its independence in 1804. But what's important for people to know is we have been struggling ever since then. So what is formed is you have poor people, rich people. There's no such thing as middle class at all."
So in 2021, seeing the reins and ropes used as whips to beat Haitian migrants away from the border brought back painful memories of slavery and subjugation that ties back to the country's origins. European countries began colonizing Haiti in the 1400s, turning the island into a slave port. Haiti won its independence after enslaved people revolted against the French and came out victorious. And part of what has contributed to the country's deep poverty today is the fallout from the slave trade. France demanded an estimated $21 billion in today's money for its losses. That put Haiti in debt for almost a century, preventing them from rebuilding and investing in themselves. As the New York Times reports, the country was ripe for foreign exploitation. For instance, in 1915, U.S. troops invaded after a mob killed the Haitian president. U.S. troops reintroduced forced labor on road construction projects and were later accused of extrajudicial killings. So while some acknowledge that America has a right to protect its borders, historians also understand that migrants wouldn't be running to America's borders if the U.S. hadn't played such a significant role in destabilizing the country. Centuries of exploitation, the recent assassination of Haiti's president, and devastating natural disasters all boil up to what we see today. As 13,000 migrants are sheltering along the border in Del Rio, Texas, hoping to get into the U.S. to seek asylum, watching the Fugees reunite once again gives voice to the people they championed and what they've always stood for.
Just by us calling ourselves refugees, gave people such inspiration. We've always sort of tried to speak out for the other half, the half that wasn't really represented. And it just, to me, it clarifies the mission. We all can have something. There's room for everybody.
I'm Dometi Pongo, and that's what you need to know.